think it's time to tackle the 5x5. Now, if you are already comfortable with the 3x3 and the 4x4, then this should be a pretty easy learning curve for you, because really there's only like one more algorithm to remember. So I'm not going to go, in super detail about all the like the 3x3 stuff and all that. I'm just going to kind of more focus on how this one's different and the new things. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video that you probably already know how to do at least the 3x3. It makes it a little easier if you know how to do the 4x4, but it's not really required. So anyway, let me mix it up and we'll get going. Okay, now just like you would do with the 4x4 and any cube, any number cube, what you want to do is reduce it down to a 3x3. So we're going to do the centers, and then we're going to do the edges, and that would be, on the 5x5, it would be these groups of 3. But anyway, once you get the centers and the edges done, then you just solve it just like a 3x3. So the first thing we want to do is the centers. Now, I like to start with the white side, and it's got the little sticker on it, so it's kind of easy to see, and that's where I start. So what you want to do is create lines, which it will just be a line of 3 pieces. So I'm going to start with this white piece here, and when I look at my center pieces, you need to be able to recognize the difference between a corner and an edge. So I have a center corner and a center edge. So what I need for this first line is 2 center edges, and here's one. So I'm just going to bring it up, and there it is. So now I need another center edge. So you can see both of these are center corners, so can't use those. So I look around, and there's a center edge right there. So I'm just going to move it over and bring it up, and there's my first line. Now for the other lines, I'm not going to build them on the side that's going to be white. I'm going to build them on a different side. Okay, it doesn't matter where you want to build them. So let me just find, here's a side that has some white. Okay, so what I want to do is, there's a center edge, and I'm going to take this center corner and just bring it up like that. Now you need to make sure, you need to pay attention that you're not messing up what you've already done. I didn't mess that one up, so I don't need to fix anything on that particular move. Alright, now I need another corner, which would be here. Bring it up and match it up there. But you see that when I did that, I messed up the line that I had already done. So you have to pay attention to that. So what I'll do is, when I bring this up, I'll bring it up, move it out of the way, and then move that side back down, which will fix this line that I already had. Alright, so now that I have my second line, I'm just going to bring it up just like that. Okay, now I have this other corner that what I'm going to do is just kind of move it up off of that side, because again, we can't build it on that side, so I just moved it up. Alright, let's see what else we have. Here's another corner. So what I can do is just kind of rotate that around and just move this one up to match it. Now if you're not sure if you've messed up something, then it's a good habit just to, if I move that up, just move it out of the way and move that side back down. It's just a good habit to get into. Okay, so I just need this last little edge. I'm just gonna, now I know that my white side is here, so when I move this up, I'm not messing anything up, so I'm okay. Okay, so, and there you go. So the white corner is done. Now what I'm going to do next is going to be the yellow, and do you have to do it that way? No, that's just the way I do it. So I'm going to basically follow the same steps. I'm going to start with my yellow corner. I need to get a couple of edges up there. Now this time I am going to mess this up when I move, so I need to make sure I fix it. So when I move it up, move it out of the way, and bring that side back down. Make sure it's okay. Alright, and do the same thing. Here's an edge. I could use either one of these, it doesn't matter, but I'm just going to use this one, bring it up, turn it out of the way, bring that side back down to fix it. So there's your first line. Okay, so I have a edge here and there's a corner, so what I can do is just pair that up, move it out of the way, and fix. It was over here actually, but okay, so I can use this corner here, just move it up and fix. Okay, so I can now pair this one up here, move it up, turn it out of the way, move it back down. White side's still good. Okay, so one more line. I have that corner there, and I just need to match it with these two. So it's in the right spot. I just have to do a double move it up, out of the way, and fix. Now on that one I didn't have to fix it. Again, I'm just kind of getting in the habit of doing that. Okay, so now you see that if I move this up, then there's no way that I can fix this. So just like on the 4x4, if you're familiar with that, what you have to do is move it into a spot where the yellow already is, like this. So I'm going to move it up like that, move it out of the way, and fix. Now we're good. Okay, I like to always do the blue side next. Again, that's just how I do it. You don't have to do that. So I already have these two. I just need an edge. I can use this one. Just move it up. And again, you know, I haven't done any on this slice yet, so I don't really have anything to fix yet. And just coincidentally, I already have another line going here, so I'm just going to move it like that and bring it up. Okay, now I can use this corner here and pair it with this one as long as I move it like that. So I'm going to take this corner up, move it out of the way, bring it back down, just because I'm in the habit of doing that. And last little center, or center edge, I mean. So need to move it up to the top, so when I move it, it will be in the right spot. Move it up, turn it out of the way, move it back down. Okay, and again, I can just do that because none of these other three have been worked on yet. So there's that one. Okay, I'm going to do the red next. I already have these two, so I can just use this edge, just bring it up, move it out of the way, and fix. Make sure I fix that. And you have to do that from here on out because basically any move that you make is going to mess something up, so you have to fix it each time. I can use this here, just use that edge. If I bring it up, out of the way, and fix. Okay, I'm going to bring that red up, move it out of the way, fix. Okay, now I'm going to use this corner here. I'm going to move it up, do a double move it out of the way, and a double move to fix. Okay, so now I have where all three are on the same side. Well, in order to do that, I'm going to have to take this one, move it to another side, move it out of the way, and fix. Make sure that's good. And now I can just do the same thing. So get it to where it's going to go, move it up, out of the way, fix. Okay, so now I just need to, again, I'm going to get it underneath where the red already is. I have to do a double turn, move it up, out of the way, fix. Okay, so now I'm down to my last two sides. So when you get here, you have to learn a little move. Well, you don't have to, but it certainly makes it a lot easier, especially when you go on to the 6x6 and above. You're definitely going to need this. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to switch two pieces. Okay, so I'm going to first switch these two. So they have to be in the same spot, same relative position, and what I mean by that is if this one's in the top left, then the one you want to switch with has got to be in the top left. Okay, now you know that this is supposed to be the orange side because it's got the orange center. This is going to be the green side because it's got the green center. So that's why I know that these two can be switched. Okay, so here's how you do it. Keep your eye on this orange piece. So I'm going to move it down. So now it's here. I'm going to move it out of the way, and now I'm going to move it down again. Now I'm going to undo where I moved it out of the way. And I'm going to bring this side back up. Then I'm going to go back the other way and bring this side back up. And you can see that there's now a green spot there. So all that did was that flipped the two that I had. So now I'm going to do the same thing with these two. And you can, you know, as long as they're in the same relative position. Now, when I move that down, I can either move it left or right, doesn't matter which. I'm going to go to the right. So it's here. Now I'm going to move it down again. Then I'm going to undo that, move it back up, and then go back that way and move it back up. Okay, so now you'll see that I've only got two now that need to be switched. Okay, so let's do this one. So I have to get this piece in the same relative position. Okay, now this time I'll move to the left. I'll show you that it works that way too. So move it down, and then just move it out of the way. So we're here. Then move it down. Okay, now move that back. Move that back up, and then move back up. Okay, so now I just have these two left. Okay, so I've got them both in the top left, down, out of the way, down again, back, and back up, and back that way, back up. And there you go. So we now have all the centers done. And now you have the first step completed. Okay, so as I said before, the next step is to pair up our edge pieces. So we're going to get these groups of three all completed next. Now, what I like to do is go ahead and start with the pieces that have white, just because the white is easier to see. And that's why a lot of people like to do the white stuff first. It's just, it sticks out really good. So just to save some time, just look around and see if you already have some pieces already matched up. Like I have these orange and white pieces are already here. So I'm going to start there and just look for the third orange and white piece. And here it is. So I'm going to move it up to where it's across from it, like that. Now, what you have to look for, and again, if you already know the 4x4, you already know this, but you have to make sure that the colors are not the same. So if these two are white, this one does not need to be white, because you'll see that when I move it over, it's backwards. Okay, so that's not what we want. So it's really easy to fix that. Just bring it up to the top, move it to the back, and then flip it, and then bring it back down. So there you go. So if I have white here, I need to have orange here. Okay, now you need to make sure, and it's not a problem for me yet because I'm just now starting, but make sure that on your top layer you have at least one broken set. Here I have 4 broken sets, so I have plenty to work with. But okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna again, this is just me, but I always move from the right to the left. That's just the habit that I got into. So I'm gonna move, I have it on the right, I'm gonna move it to the left in its spot. Okay, now I'm going to bring that set up to the top, and I'm going to move it out of the way so that there is a broken set back in its spot, because I have to turn that back down and fix that middle layer. And you'll see that since I moved it out of the way on the top, it's good to go. And now I'm just going to move on. Now luckily for me, I have another set of 2 already matched up, so I just need to find the other blue and white. And here it is right here. So I'm going to move it down. Now I run into the same issue here. I have white and white, which is not what I want. So I'm going to move that piece up, back, and so now it's here, and then I'm just going to flip it back down. And all that did was just kind of turned it to where now I have the other color. Okay, so I have a broken set on top ready to move in. Okay, so I move it over, bring it up, move a broken set in its spot, turn that back down, and then fix where I originally moved. And now I have the blue and white. Okay, let's move on to the green and white. So here's a green and white here, so let me just move it in. The colors are opposite, so I'm good. Okay, I'm going to move the piece over, bring it to the top layer, move a broken set into its spot, bring it back down, and then fix that move that I originally did. So now I have the 2. I need to find the third green and white, which will be oh, there it is. It's right there in front of me. Okay, so now you can probably already see that when I bring that down, it's going to be green, so I know that that needs to be turned. So I'm just going to turn it to the back and flip. So now there it is, ready to go in. I've got a broken set in the top, so I'm going to move it in, top layer, move the broken pair in, down, and fix that original move. So now that's done. So I only have one more set that have white on it, and that's going to be the red and white. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there, and there's another red and white. I'm going to move it over, top layer, bring a broken set in, and fix. Okay, so looking for the other red and white, and colors are opposite, so it's good. Another thing you want to look for is like this set. Even though this set is broken, if I were to, you know, fix this, move it up, and move this set down, when I fix that original move, it's going to break this. So I don't want to use this one. I'm going to use one of these others that it's not going to matter. So move it in, up, broken set in, back down, and fix. And that's just a time saver. You know, when you first start out, you're probably not going to look for all that kind of stuff, but that's just something to help you save some time. Now, I'm going to start going a little bit faster now because I don't want this video to be super long. So I think you're kind of seeing the idea. So now I am going to show you the whole process just so everybody's okay, but I'm not going to explain it step by step anymore. I'm just going to let you kind of watch. So I am working on the green and red. Again, I'm assuming that you're kind of getting the picture, so I'm just going to move through it a little quicker. Okay, let's do the green and orange now. Just need to find that last one. I'm missing it. So there it is. Right there. Okay, so let's move that and fix. Very important that you don't forget to fix, or you will mess yourself up. Okay, I'm doing the orange and blue. Bring it up, bring a broken set down, and fix. Okay, I know I saw it looked like I had another one. Yeah, set of 2. I'm always on the lookout for those sets of 2. You want to use those as much as you can, again, just to save you some time. Okay, there's another set of 2, the red and yellow. So I'm getting pretty lucky on my sets of 2 here. Okay, so now look at what I have here. I have it in position, ready to move over, but the problem is that I don't have any broken sets on top. So I'm going to try to hold my place there and find a broken set. There's one right here, and I'm just going to move it to the top. So now I do have a broken set on top. So now I move it over, up, broken set, back down, and fix. Okay, and now I am almost ready. I've got one more set here, and then I'll be down to my last two. Okay, so I'm doing the blue and yellow, match them up, bring it to the top, broken set, back down. Okay, so now I'm down to my last two. Okay, so once you get here, now things get a little bit more complicated, because you'll see that there are no more broken sets. So no matter what I do here, if I were to fix that and bring it up, well, if I bring another set down, then I'm going to mess up what I've done. So now you have a couple of algorithms. One of them is from the 4x4, and then there's going to be a new one. And I'm going to try to show you every situation, or at least almost every situation that you're going to see here. Okay, so when we come back from that, I'll show you what to do. Okay, so the first situation I want to show you is that there is an algorithm, and this is the same one you use on the 4x4. Now what it does is it switches these two, and it switches these two. So you want to look and see if you can manipulate these to where you can have that situation, and I can with this one. All I have to do is turn the cube over, which you see that these two need to be switched, and I guess I should say it switches them, and it also rotates the colors. Like what it will do is it will actually fix these two, where you see how the colors are opposite. So it'll fix these two, and it will switch these two across from each other diagonally. So these are actually where I want them to be. This one, though, needs to be here. So what I'm going to do is just turn it to the top. Here it is, and I'm going to move it to the back. And then I'm going to move it down and swing it back over. That's the exact same method that I was using earlier when I was trying to get the colors to be opposite. You know, I'd move it up, move it to the back, move it down, and then flip it back. So that's the same thing. Now this is what you want. You'll see that if these two switch, then they'll be in the right spots, and if these two switch, it's going to also change their colors, and so that's going to have them I want you to understand it, they're not physically switching places. I mean, this one stays where it's at, and this one stays where it's at, but what it's doing is it's just fixing the colors, I guess is the best way I can say it. I hope that makes sense, but you'll see in just a second. Okay, so this is how you want to hold it. Okay, so the algorithm is big down. I call it big down just because I'm using the two layers, but okay, then right, and then front prime, and then up, and then right prime, and then front, and then big down prime. And you can see that now those two are fixed. Alright, so let me show you another one. Okay, you may also see this. So I have all three on the same side, but the middle ones are backwards. So if you see this situation, you're going to use that same algorithm that I just showed you, but it doesn't matter if I hold it this way or this way, and you'll see why in a second. So just hold it with the broken ones in the front and do that same algorithm. Okay, now what happened was It got it in the same position I had earlier, just upside down. So just turn the cube over and you'll see that you're in the same position you were a minute ago. So now just do that same algorithm again. And you're fixed. So there they are. Okay, so now there's one more major situation I want to show you. I'll show you that one next. Okay, so what if you have this, where these two are matched up good, but there's the other color there. These two are matched up good, but the other color there. So, in other words, I just need to switch these two on the bottom. Now, you could get another variation of this, like if you had, you might see this. So on this side, the one is on the bottom, and on this side, the one is on the top. Well, it's the same thing, it's just you need to just turn it back. In other words, get them straight across from each other is how you want to start. So if this one's on the top, then just do like we were doing earlier, move it up, back, down, and then turn it back. So now they're straight across. Okay, so this one's just a little bit different. Instead of holding it on the front like this, we're going to turn it and hold it on the top, with the ones that need to be switched are on the right. Okay, so once you have this, you're going to do big left prime, up 2, big left prime, up 2, front 2, big left prime, front 2, and then big right, up 2, big right prime, up 2, and big left 2. And you can see that it switched them. Now, all the other situations you'll see are going to be variations of those. And some of it's just trial and error. You know, if you're not sure what to do, just try one of those algorithms until you see one of the exact situations that I went over. You know, you may get a time where you're just not really sure what to do, so I usually start with that first one, especially on the bigger cubes, not so much this one, but once you get to the 6x6 and beyond, you won't always know what to do, so, and that's okay. You know, just do a little trial and error. Try one of them, you know, maybe do that move where you flip one over and then look at it again and just kind of see what you've got. But anyway, those are the major situations, and again, you may just need to, you know, manipulate a little bit, like flip one over, flip both of them over maybe, or flip the cube over. So you just have to practice and get a feel for it. But anyway, once you have the centers and the edges done, you now effectively have a 3x3. And if you know how to solve a 3x3, then you're ready to go. So I'm just going to quickly go ahead and use my method for solving the 3x3, and just to let you see me finish it out. Okay, so again, going kind of quick, I'm going to start with the white cross. I know I said this earlier, but I'm kind of assuming if you're trying to solve the 5x5, you probably already know how to do the 3x3. Okay, so there's your white cross. And I am using the beginner's method because I just like that the best. It's easiest for people to see it. Okay, I'm doing the corners now, getting them in the right spots and orientation. And if by chance you are somebody who does not know how to do the 3x3 yet, you really need to go and you can check out my video on the 3x3, because I use the same method that I'm running through now, except I explain it in great detail. As a matter of fact, a lot of people like to complain that I talk too much. I try to explain everything in a way that everybody can understand. So, you know, I'm sorry if you think I talk too much, but you know, I was a middle school teacher for several years, so I've really gotten the habit of having to explain things very well. So, okay, so you should be seeing what I'm doing now. I'm just getting these corner or edge pairs. So this one is flipped backwards, so I'm going to need to move one into its spot. Okay, so I just moved a random one into its spot. Now I can move that one back in the proper orientation. Alright, so I have my first 4 layers done. The only thing left is the last layer. So here I have the straight line. So I use the algorithm for that. Okay, now I need to just make sure my edges are right. Oh, these two need to switch, so I use the algorithm for that. Okay, so now all my edge pairs are right. The only thing that's left is to get the corners in the right spots and oriented. Okay, so I'm going to rotate 3 corners. Okay, all my corners are now in the right spots, so the very last step is just to get them oriented. So you can see how similar this cube is to the 3x3, and you know, all the odd number cubes are going to be solved the same way. It just gets more complicated because there's more in your centers and there's more on your edges, but all the odds are going to be the same way. All the evens are going to be done the same way. Now the good news is, once you learn the 5x5, assuming you know the 3 and 4, so I'll just say that once you know the 3x3, the 4x4, and the 5x5, you can then move on and do any number cube. I actually have up to a 10x10, and all the odds use the same method, all the evens use the same method. So once you learn the 5x5, you now have opened the door to any number cube that you want. So I really hope this helped. You know, please leave me a comment if you have a question. I do try to answer legit questions. If somebody leaves me a question, you know, I try to answer it. So if you have a question or comment, please leave it. I want to thank you for watching, and good luck.